What's going on, everybody? And welcome into another edition of the Pub Sports Radio Show. My name is Jose Bouquet, and of course, and actually joined with a lot of people today, uh, joined by the Bryce Harper to my Mike Trout. It is Andrew Santangelo. Andrew, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Jose. Just again back in Oklahoma, working every day again, so starting to slowly get back into the actual life kind of routine again. So it kind of feels good a little bit, but also nerve wracking at the same time.
Oh, really? You a little nervous out there, Andrew?
Not an Alva, but just haven't really still kind of getting used to the real world again. So
Real world.
have haven't really done anything too special. Not trusting anything in terms of like bars or anything yet. So I've been skipping out on all that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a haircut yet, and I've been told by multiple sources that my hair has gone very wild, and it's great to see. But Andrew, you actually brought some guests on today. I feel like you're the appropriate person to introduce your guests today, as you know them very well, I suppose.
Yeah, so I got two of my other two other hosts from our other podcast called Chasing the Pennant. We do, which is a Phillies podcast, strictly. I mean, we've been brought in the without baseball, kind of more of a baseball full on show now. But I got two of the other hosts on that, and that is first off, Joe. How are you doing today?
Doing very well, doing very well. Got out to move around a little bit. Still nice weather up here like you have down there. So it's all been good here.
And then I also got Sean.
What's up? I'm excited to talk some baseball. This type of content that we're going to bring you guys is something I like to talk about a lot. So I'll throw it back to you guys.
I love the build up for Joe, and then he's like, "Man, here's Sean." All right.
Well, I didn't. All I did was build up. I just talked about the podcast we're on. It's not like I talked about Joe at all.
I got hype. I was like, "Damn, he's about to start going off," and then he's like, "Oh, and here's Sean." All right, here we go. We're off. We're off. All right. Well, we're here. We tried to do this last week, but we decided last second, like, why don't we just bring a bunch of people and let's talk some baseball, and specifically, let's do a 5-year draft. So for people that don't know, me and Andrew have kind of been in the drafting ranking kind of mood recently. Last show we did all MLB teams, and now we're gonna do this 5-year draft. Basic rules are you draft a player for each position. Three outfielders. We're not doing left, right, and center field because that's going to be too tedious for everyone. And three pitchers, starting pitchers. And at the end, our little twist is that we will be drafting a field, a stadium to put our team in, excluding Citizens Bank Park. Unfortunately, is that what your stadium's called now? Because stadium names change all the time.
Yeah, CBP.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad the bank is still the bank. Shout out to that. And Fenway Park is off limits for me as well. So let's get this started because this might be a lengthy one, and let's try to get through some picks. First pick we started with the age first. It's going to be great. Uh, I believe that's Joe first. I already forgot the order, to be honest. I think Joe, Andrew, Sean, me. No, I know it's me, Sean.
Yeah, I'm definitely last. Definitely last.
Sean was last year because Sean's the youngest. Yeah.
All right, shout out to you, Sean. I appreciate your youth, but Joe, go ahead and start us off with, as you said, the easiest pick in the draft, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to pick anybody else of the first overall pick, especially from the Philadelphia area. I think people would kill me if I didn't pick Mike Trout, but he also deserves it. I mean, the dude's made the All-Star game every year of his career but one, which was in 2011 when he only played 40 games at the age of 19. And as you said, Jose, before the podcast, he finished in the top two of the MVP other than that season every year in his career, other than in 2017, which is a year he got injured that he clearly would have finished in the top two. He's over a 300 hitter in his career at 305. And in only 8 full seasons, the dude already almost has 300 home runs at 285 home runs. He's a 5-tool player. There's nothing bad to say about Mike Trout. That's my easy number one first pick.
Any complaints from any of you guys?
Just that he's off the board,
Are you furious? You can't take him. Steaming, I assume.
What was it?
I believe it's your pick now, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Christian Yelich. I think he's the. I think again, he's continuing to improve his game. He would have won MVP last year, I believe, if he doesn't get hurt. So he would have been back-to-back MVP winners. He's still fairly young, I think he's 27, and not only does he hit for average, last 2 years been over 325. He's also got the power. Hit 44 home runs last year in a shortened season for himself. So I'm going with Christian Yelich.
All right, Christian Yelich off the board quickly. I'm kind of surprised, Andrew. I'm surprised you didn't go for more a youthful player. Christian Yelich, 28. Old man now.
I mean, that's not that old, and two, you need some type of veteran leading your team. So he's my leader.
Oh, I'm glad that he's the leader you chose. I guess it is my selection now, and with my pick, I want to stick with the outfield. I'm going to take Cody Bellinger, the MVP list last year. Young as hell. Believe. Let me see this. He's 24, so I'll go ahead and take his prime. Thank you very much. Power hitter does it all. MVP, Rookie of the Year, the whole shebang. 47 home runs. I'll take that any day.
Good pick. Definitely took who I was going to take next, but I do have some backups, obviously. Is it my pick?
It is.
Yes.
All right. So I get back to back.
Correct.
Yes.
All right.
Because we are not savages. We do snake.
All right. In that case, I'm going to take Acuna with my first pick. He's 22 years old. He was, I forget if it was 3 stolen bases. I think he got the stolen bases. I think he was 3 home runs away from a 40-40 season in his second full season in the majors. And to me, that's amazing. And I think he's going to be killing the Phillies for the next decade to come.
He definitely is. I'll definitely agree with you there.
It sucks that he went to the Braves. But for my next pick, I'm going to have to jump to third base here and take Nolan Arenado.
Wow.
Somebody that's been top 5 in the MVP finish for I don't know how many years in a row. He's been right there. He's a Platinum Glove winner. He's 7-time Gold Glove. I believe we talked about this on our last podcast too. He is somebody that, he can't be overlooked, and he's only 28 years old. I think he's still going to run the MLB for the next half decade.
Any thoughts on those picks?
Yeah. I love the Arenado pick. I was hoping he'd make it back to me in the second round. I almost took him second overall because he's like one of my favorite players in the league, but I thought he'd make it. So, already a mistake there on my part, honestly. So I love that Arenado pick.
Yeah, I love that too. That was one of the guys that was highly on my board.
Wow, I guess I don't know why, but I guess I'm a hater of Nolan Arenado. I've always thought he's not like that, all that, but it might be just him being in Colorado, just chilling there with nothing to do, I guess.
Not a great team around him.
I hate to see it. Believe it's my turn now.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go not outfield here because we've taken a lot. Actually, I'm gonna lock down another outfielder. Fuck it. I just go a route about face. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop up Juan Soto. Probably should have been the MVP of the World Series last year. Shout out to Steven Strasburg. He had a great performance. But Juan Soto, it was the offense. Love the power takes. Young as hell, as I just previously said earlier. 21 years old. Again, I will gladly take Juan Soto's prime. He's so good that Bryce Harper is now relevant in Washington. So
It's a good pick. I'm very surprised you went Soto though.
Why?
I'm a little surprised too because Andrew's told me how much you're a Red Sox.
Yeah,
I know somebody else that on the board that recently left the team. So
well, I have faith. I know the board. I know who I'm drafting around. There's some Phillies fans here, so I feel like I can scoop up my Red Sox in later picks.
We'll see about that one.
There's a lot. Outfield's deep. That's all I say. Outfield's deep.
Outfield is very
that is fair. That is fair. It is a deep position. But you went with an outfielder anyway.
I'd like to. Sorry, he's younger. Mookie Betts can still hurt my feelings, guys. I can't do it right now. The Red Sox are going to re-sign him in a year. So after that, I'll make a trade. Who knows? We can make trades during this. So maybe I'll trade for Mookie Betts throughout the draft. Who knows? But
that'd be fun, actually.
You guys, you're not excited. You guys would not do that.
I hate to break it to you, but I'm doing that too. Give me Mookie Betts.
Wow.
That's really.
Wow.
They literally immediately.
I would gladly take Betts and Yelich in my outfield. So Mookie Betts again. I think he's arguably, possibly. We talked about it last week, Jose. Maybe the second best player in the league.
Yeah.
And again, he does everything. Average, home runs, and he can even steal when he has to. Not like Acuna, but he still gets a good handful amount of steals. So
You have to be good to win an MVP from Mike Trout, and he did that in 2018.
exactly, and he's won the last 4 Gold Gloves in the center field. So.
Hey,
Or right field.
Yeah, best right fielder in the game. But I drafted Juan Soto instead, so I'm going to start kicking myself now. But whatever, it's fine. I love it. I believe Joe's next.
Yeah, I believe it would go back to me. And since Sean picked Nolan Arenado, I'm going to switch from third base and go to second base. And I'm going to take a guy that's also going to be killing the Phillies for many years to come. And that is Ozzie Albies, who in his 2-year career, or a 3-year career, but he only played in a handful of games in 2017. He's already been a Silver Slugger and a one-time All-Star. The dude just knows how to hit. Obviously, we're picking this for 5 years out, so I wanted to go with a guy younger. He's only 23. He hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he's already a career 279 hitter with 54 home runs, and he's not even a home run hitter. He's just one of those guys that's a 5-tool second baseman. You got to see his steals numbers continue to go up as he gets more comfortable. So he's a guy that I would be easily comfortable building around with having a Trout and then an Albies in my infield.
Good pick.
I can't say it's a bad pick. Love Ozzie Albies. I think there's a better second baseman out there, but I don't hate it. I believe it's your pick again because this is a snake. Yeah, this is your back-to-back pick here.
Oh, cool. Okay, well then, in that case, I'm going to flip it because obviously pitching is also very valuable when we're picking for fantasy drafts. And since we're doing 5 years, I wanted to pick a guy that I think is just going to quickly ascend into one of the best pitchers in baseball. He had a 3.34 in 18 and a 2.75 last year, and that's Jack Flaherty. Flaherty's going to continue to get better. He's only 24 years old. I mean, the dude in a few years already has an 8.4 WAR for his team. He's pitching like a hell of a pitcher already, and is, in my opinion, going to win a couple Cy Youngs in his career. So I'm easily taking Jack Flaherty as one of my pitchers.
Well, that's disappointing because I was all aboard the Jack Flaherty train. That was my next pick. This is not a great start for Team Jose over here.
Wow.
First pitcher off the board, Jack Flaherty is surprising though.
Yeah, I didn't have him as the number one for the next 5 years, but he was in the top 3. So I applaud that pick, Bork.
All right.
It was between him or Walker, but I kind of just flipped a coin and went with Jack.
I like it.
That's fair.
I like it.
I wouldn't hate it. Andrew, believe it's your pick.
It is my pick, and I know he's on the older side, but I'm still gonna pick him. He's 31 years old. I'm also going pitcher, but I'm gonna take Jacob deGrom.
Mm-hmm.
Back-to-back Cy Young winner. Just continues to look like he's getting better. If he wasn't on the Mets and didn't have such a bad offense at times, he would have probably been pretty close to leading the MLB in wins the last few years. So, I mean, even with a bad offense like that and a bad team, he's still been the best pitcher in the game, arguably. So I'm going to go with deGrom.
Like it, back-to-back MVPs, never bad to go with. But you do say fuck the age, Andrew. That's a 36-year-old, 35-year-old, whatever he is, after the end of 5 years.
After 5 years, he'll be 36.
He'll be 36.
That's tough, Andrew. That's tough.
Hey, I win the first 2 years, and then I'll go on my slide. But
Yeah, and then it's tank for whoever.
I got what? Betts is 27, Yelich is 28, and deGrom's 31. So
Yeah, you don't care about the
I'm going to win the first 2 or 3 years. How about that?
Good. Thanks for coming. I think this is my pick.
Yep.
And since my hand has been forced with pitchers, I'm going to take a kind of surprising one. I think he's going to be the next ace that leaves the Indians, and it's Shane Bieber.
Wow.
Okay.
He's going to leave eventually. He's a really, really good pitcher. Don't be surprised if he's going to be on the Yankees or something like that. I can't wait to see him grow. Jack Flaherty would have been my one, but I really like Shane Bieber.
Wow.
That's a good pick. I like that. He was my third ranked guy out of really young pitchers, so I really like that pick.
Sean. you're up.
Well, now you forced my hand, as you know, a lot of my pitchers are going kind of quickly, and so since I have 2 picks, the first one I'm going to use on Walker Buehler. He was my number 2 behind DeGrom and right ahead of Flaherty. I think he's already shown what he can prove with the Dodgers, and he's somebody the Phillies should have taken, and they kind of just let him go. Was that the same draft as Mickey Moniak? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
I do.
I don't know off of the top of my head. I think you might be right, but yeah.
Let's just agree with you. Yes, you're right. It's tough. The Phillies had a chance to draft Walker Buehler, and they just this declined. I assume. They drafted.
If it was that draft, we had the first pick and got Mickey Moniak. I'm sure you know that name, right? Right, Jose?
Notable name. I've heard of him. Nick Man. Who hasn't heard of him? I've seen his work. It's a good pick though. I love watching Walker go up there and throw it, especially in the World Series. He was the one pitcher that I was terrified against when the Red Sox smacked around the Dodgers a little bit, but I love that pick. Sean, I think this is your second pick now, since your second pick here. Oh, we lost him. Hey, welcome back, Sean. Here we go.
And I don't know what the last thing you heard me say was, but Buehler. Somebody the Phillies should have had. Yeah, that's my bad. My internet cut out.
You're good.
That's all good. All good.
And yeah, so I mean, I wasn't gonna take starting pitchers this early. Wasn't even really on my radar. I figured it was kind of so deep that it would kind of get, it would slip some people's mind, but here we are. So yeah, I'll take Buehler. And with my second pick, I have to take the 19-year-old phenom from the Tampa Bay Rays at shortstop, Wander Franco.
The first prospect.
Yeah, I got super excited when I heard that prospects could be taken as part of this. And, him being only 19 is definitely somewhat of a risk. He's the number 1 prospect in baseball as of right now, and he has an MLB ETA of 2020 if we play this season. So I think he's going to make a huge impact on the MLB in the next 5 years.
I'll be honest. I thought about putting him on my draft board, but I thought shortstop was so deep I just couldn't fit him in.
Yeah. He was on my draft board. He wasn't one of my top guys, but he was definitely one of my guys if he fell. So, yeah, Sean definitely took somebody that was on my draft board.
Classic Sean. my pick now, I'm going to – man, this is tough. This is tough. You never know what you're going to overdraft, underdraft. I'm going to pick someone that's going to kill the Phillies, the Braves too, actually. This position is kind of not as deep as you would think for young talent, but I'm going to go ahead and take the polar bear, Pete Alonso.
That was honestly my next pick, so very, very good pick there.
5.2 WAR, 52 home runs in his rookie of the year right here, 120 RBIs. Like I said, first base isn't really deep for young talent. It's kind of weird to see, especially because for all these years there's been mashers over there, but definitely would love to lock up the polar bear. Take my franchise first baseman. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna. You put me in a tough spot now.
Andrew, I love putting you in a tough spot. That's my favorite thing to do.
Because he was gonna be my young guy that I was gonna get this pick, but now I lost that chance.
I put her in an absolute box.
There's a couple first basemen out there. If that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, thanks to Jose. I think I am going to stick with first base, but I'm going to forget about age again. Give me the best first baseman in baseball and Freddie Freeman.
That's a good pick.
Freddie's very good. He's very, very good. I'm starting to notice that I don't have Andrew's taking note of all the players being drafted right now. A lot of NL East players.
It's the best division in baseball.
Outside the Marlins, it was going to be a very good division this year.
Well, I was going to argue and say the AL East, but the Red Sox are
Yeah.
down, so.
I would like to protest that because I've only picked one person from the NL East, actually.
Hey, that's not bias right there. That's not. You did not pick it within your division. That's the right man right there. Believe Joe.
Yeah, and I was between a couple young shortstops, so I was on with the Sean train of picking a shortstop. And again, I was very much between this man and Tim Anderson and Bo Bichette, so I kind of just ended up again flipping a coin and figuring out who I would get. So I went with Bo Bichette because the dude in his first year hit 311. He came up, he just continued to rake. As soon as he came up, he's 23 years old, or 22 years old, excuse me. He's obviously from a great lineage baseball family. The dude obviously knows how to play the game. He's just going to get better and better each year. And to do that in only 196 at-bats when you just get called up, that's pretty remarkable as well. So they're going to have a very exciting team up there in the very near future in Toronto.
Absolutely. Bo Bichette with Kevin Biggio and Vlad Guerrero Jr. They're three of them are going to be fun to watch for a long time.
You guys are really going for the youth movement here. I'm shocked that there are the shortstops that are still available. Like I can just sit back and wait and get a top 2 shortstop now. This is great. Awesome. I love it.
Oh yeah, I went for the fact that I just believe Bichette's going to turn into like an all-star elite level shortstop in short time. So having a guy at 22 compared to a Frenchie who's a couple years ahead, for example, is going to be more beneficial to my team for the long haul.
All right. Whose pick is it now? Was that your second there, Joe?
No, that was only mine.
That was his first.
Yeah, that was my first. So for my second, this is tough because a lot of people picked guys that I really had on my radar for my second. But a guy I do really like, and this is kind of disregarding age a little bit, but I would say is Paul Goldschmidt. The guy's always hit. I think he's going to age pretty well. We're pretty weak at first base, as Jose said, and I just think Goldie's going to continue to hit at least above 260, 270 every year of his career and drive you in at least 30-some home runs and a good amount of RBIs. He's a 6-time All-Star. He's also a 3-time Gold Glover. His fielding hasn't really depreciated that much. So I'll take Paul Goldschmidt as my one older player because I don't think he's going to age that bad. The dude's got a 43.1 career WAR. I think he's going to finish with right around that in his career. So therefore, I think he's going to be like an Adrian Beltre type first baseman and just age like a fine wine.
I like that pick. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we are selecting DHs as well. So
Ooh.
yes, this is a American League world now, so we have DHs and everywhere.
So I completely forgot about that. So for the DH, can we just pick one extra person, or is it a specific DH?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a David Ortiz, JD Martinez.
Okay.
If you fancy, you want to put Bo in DH, you're more than welcome to.
Okay.
Believe that was Joe's second, so we're back to the Andrew.
Yes. I'm going to go with a versatile player in Ketel Marte, 26-year-old, really on the upcoming uprise. And Jose, we picked him on our All-MLB team last week. I think it was the second team we gave to him. But again, he can play a lot of different positions. I'll put him at second base for now, and I'll get that 26-year-old.
You asked. That was my next pick. I believe he's the best second baseman in baseball. I don't know if I'm more gonna say I'm excited to see what player from Houston gets drafted first, or if any. Who's gonna bite the bullet and draft receivers? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. My pick, believe. Oh man, see.
I had to return the favor because you took Alonso from me, so I had to put you on that spot now.
Hey man, we could always work out a trade. Who knows? I want to. Man, I hate drafting this person. I want to lock up pitching. I want to get a good 1-2 punch. I hate this person. I hope he doesn't succeed for my team, just like I hope he doesn't succeed in the world life. But I'll take Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, he's very, very good at pitching. I hope he enjoyed pitching for the Houston Astros and losing that World Series. But I hope he does well. Who knows? Maybe he'll live up to that ginormous contract. Who's to say?
Yeah, I think he will. I think, maybe the back end's not going to be as he's not going to have as much production on the back end of that contract, but for the start of it, he's definitely going to live up to it, I think.
Hopefully, for the first 5 years, he lives up to it, and then from there, just a steep nosedive. I'm glad I broke the Yankee seal because I have another Yankee I kind of want to take, but I don't want to do it because obviously he plays for the Yankees. But here we are now. We're doing it. I'll probably by the end of this draft, I'll have the most Yankees on my team probably.
Okay, I believe that.
You broke the Yankee seal, and I'm gonna say you broke the Astros seal too, because he was the cheater with the Astros the last couple of years. So you went on that tangent, and then you ended up picking an Astros. So I'm gonna say you're the first one.
I almost picked an actual Astro right as I said that. I literally was like, I can't just say this and then pick an Astro. So I changed my draft just because I said that.
See, and
You caught me red-handed.
with what happened with the Astros, I think a lot of them would have already been taken by now. But for me personally, when I look at that team, I don't know actually how talented any of them are, other than maybe Bregman, who has shown that he really has skill. But I feel like Altuve, Bregman, even Springer might be off the board by now if that scandal didn't come out. Because personally, I don't know how good they're going to be this year or for the next couple of years if they don't have that perk of cheating.
Exactly.
So,
we all want them to stink this year. We all, I bet you all three of us here, all four want them to be the worst team in the league because that's the funniest outcome for all of it.
Yeah, if their stars start to, really crap out this year, it would really show a lot of how much that cheating really helped them throughout the years.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. As a fellow Venezuelan, I'd feel bad for Jose Altuve, but he stabbed me in the back too, so it's whatever. Who's up right now?
It's me. I have 2 picks. I'm gonna do the thing that I think we all have been waiting for and take Bryce Harper.
Wow.
It needed to be done. He was my next outfielder. He was the next guy up on my list, and I had a feeling that he wouldn't make it back to me. So I'm going to do it. I only have one outfielder so far, and it's Acuna, so I feel pretty solid about the starting 2.
Is Bryce Harper positive approval rating for all of you guys right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
No complaints anywhere.
Nope.
No,
Well, except for the fact that Sean took him from me.
That's what I mean. He was not going to be around the second time around. So
I put him on my draft board, but I knew I wasn't going to take him, so I really don't know why I had him. Like, there's 0 chance. Same thing with other Phillies that I thought were interesting, like Rhys Hoskins. I was like, oh, he could be a first baseman, I guess. And I was like, there's 0 chance I'm getting him.
You might get him. He had a down year, and he's kind of looked a little like. I mean, I still love Rhys. I have his jersey. I hope the best that he still has those power numbers, but in Philadelphia, at least right now, he's got to prove himself. He hasn't really. He had a pretty down year last year.
I had to buy Andrew a Rhys Hoskins jersey because I lost a bet. So
you did.
I hope he does well all the time.
He's still my favorite player on the team, so hopefully he does come back.
Well, maybe he will be gone. So, all right. So with my second pick, and this is kind of hard because there's a couple guys that I have as my top guys for certain positions that I don't think are going to get taken by my next time around. So I think I'm going to go starting pitcher. For the next 5 years, this guy's really for the future, and he's shown how good he is in one season so far. I'm going to take Chris Paddock. I don't know how highly you guys had him.
That's a great pick. I didn't write him down, and I feel like a big dumb idiot for not doing that. That's a really good pick. I like that.
He's shown how good he was. If he didn't have an innings limit and got sent down to the minors, I think, he might have been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. Then again, he also went up against, Pete Alonso and his own teammate Fernando Tatis Jr. So
would have been up there for sure. Shout out to him. Nice guy too.
Yeah.
I drafted him over Garrett Cole. Son of a bitch. Damn it. All right. Well, it's my pick. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I'll take one of the cheaters. Like I said earlier, I was gonna take him, but I decided not to. I'll take Alex Bregman here. By far my favorite of the cheaters, but he's very, very good. I think he finished second last year in MVP. Thank God he didn't win it.
Mhm.
But Alex, probably the best third baseman out there. Unfortunately, Rafael Devers, I might come back to you later. Alex,
Hey, I'm surprised you didn't go with your boy Matt Chapman after the way you talked him up last week.
Love Matt Chapman. Love
Hey, we both love Matt Chapman. There we go. Another
We're all Matt Chapman lovers here.
when he leaves the A's and goes to like someone like the Yankees, I will still hate him, but it will be very, very sad when he does it. Let me tell you. But I
He's
can't wait
gonna,
for him to
he's gonna
leave.
go to the Braves. Braves need third baseman. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that is gonna hurt.
Yeah, if Austin Riley doesn't pan out, that'll really hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't have any ill will towards the Phillies, but I love the Braves. The Braves are very, very fun team, and there's a lot of Venezuelan guys on there. So, speaking of, no one has anyone taken Acuna?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was my
Yeah,
first pick.
Yeah, that was Sean's first pick.
Flip. Okay, I'm glad that we got that out of the way though. Good. I'll take Bregman at my pick there.
Okay.
Andrew.
I'm gonna go with a Philly here, and I'm gonna take the best catcher in baseball, in JT Realmuto. I know he's 29, but he's gonna get at least a 5-year deal from hopefully the Phillies. We'll see who. So he's gonna be around for at least 5 years, and once the DH becomes universal, he won't be a bad DH too. If I have to move him from catcher to DH at the back half of that back end of that contract, so I'm going JT.
That's great. I love when Andrew picks Phillies. It warms my heart.
it's my first one, but okay.
I love it. His manager, he's going to draft a manager, even though we're not saying it's going to be Jay Wright. He's going to be like, fuck it, who cares? Just draft all these Philly guys.
Best coach in college basketball. So
Charlie Manuel's coming out. Who cares? Great. Joe, give us your 2 picks, please.
Yeah, mine is because a lot of the outfielders I was thinking of, you guys took a couple of mine, but I really like this guy who's developing another mistake trade that the Pirates did, who are one of the worst teams in baseball when it comes to trading, but that's not here nor there. And Austin Meadows is the guy that I'm picking to be one of my outfielders because alongside of Mike Trout also having him on the same team, that's a great combination. The dude hit 291 last year for 33 home runs. He probably would have had much closer to 40 home runs if he didn't get injured at the end of the season because he only played 130-something games compared to the total, and he hasn't even hit his prime yet. So I'm definitely taking Austin Meadows at this point because we haven't even seen close to his best yet, in my opinion.
Wow, that's a bold pick.
That is a bold pick.
I like it. I definitely respect Austin Meadows. I like what he's done. Wow. I do like the pick though.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
Was that your first?
That was my first, yeah. My next one, since we all talked about him a minute ago, is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I'm taking Matt Chapman to play third base for me. He's won the Platinum Glove, the Gold Glove. He's already a one-time All-Star. He's only been in the league for 3 years now, so he hasn't even hit his prime yet. Coming up at a little bit of an older age, he's 27 now, but in 5 years, that still only puts him at 32, so that's still a good age to be at. I think he'll really be raking then since he's entering his prime age a little bit later than most. So I think he'll still be killing it for all those 5 years. So definitely give me Matt Chapman because I'm getting the best of both worlds with a bat that hasn't even hit his peak yet and one of the best fielders in baseball.
Hopefully his bat does hit that peak. That would be my concern for you.
Yeah, it's a minor concern, but I mean, I have a good team around him, so I think it'll be fine if he continues to hit 257 anyway. So.
Some people would say you don't have a good team around him, but who's to say? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Andrew, go ahead and give us your pick here.
I'm gonna go. I still need a shortstop, so I'm gonna take a shortstop here. I kind of want to take someone just to make you mad.
If you take me back, I'll just take the best shortstop in baseball, allegedly.
But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm going the best shortstop in baseball, Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, of course. You know, here's the best part about it. Now all the shortstops are gone, and I still get Xander. We're great, guys. It's awesome. I love Lindor, though. I was looking at his numbers, and his numbers are ridiculous.
I mean, someone can still get Xander as DH though. So or like move someone.
Andrew, dog, don't blow the cover. Don't blow my cover. What are you doing?
I'm trying to help out everybody in the draft, man.
Lindor, 4-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger, and a Plat Glove. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
good right there.
And he's only 26, so give me 5 years out of him, easy.
I'm Andrew. That was my favorite pick of the draft for you so far because you did not take this guy. I'm shocked that no one has taken him. He's fallen this far. I'm gonna fill my DH role with the guy with the fattest ass in the league, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Please and thank you. He can hit dingers wherever, and we'll go ahead and lock up the DH. I'll take David Ortiz 2.0. Thanks.
I like that pick.
Yeah, that was scary. I was like, we just palms are sweating over here. I was like, Andrew, don't you dare take me.
That he was not even you. I wasn't even gonna draft him, so you were fine.
Wow, that's shocking. All right.
All right. So for my first pick, I have a couple guys. I don't know who I should be aiming for first. You know what? I'm gonna take Trevor Story, and I already took a shortstop. Trevor Story is only 27 years old, and he showed last year how good he can be. I think he's one of the most underrated players. He's just like Arenado, where he's so overlooked because not only does he play at Coors Field, but that team hasn't done anything special in a long time. And I'm locking up him and Arenado together on the left side of my infield. I'll probably move either Wander Franco to DH or second base. We'll see. Still to come. But for now, yeah, give me Trevor Story.
That's a elite draft strategy right there. Congrats.
I love that pick. I think Trevor Story is highly underrated.
Yeah, and for all right, for my second pick, I'm gonna take. I have to do it. I have to take the future of the Philadelphia Phillies, Alec Boehm, at first base.
Who?
Alec Boehm at first base. I'm doing it. I know. I'm gonna get some groans from Andrew and Bork on this one, but
Yeah,
his bat is, it's you can't underrate. Like he should be a top 5 prospect in baseball if it weren't for his defense, and that's just because he plays third. I think truthfully he's going to get a lot more attention once he breaks through to the league, and I think I wish it was this year. I feel like he would have broke camp with the team, and he might have been in consideration for the NL Rookie of the Year.
man, I love that pick. I didn't know where to take him. Like I knew Jose wasn't gonna get him, but I didn't know how early he would go. So I had him on my board. I just didn't know at what point where to take him.
Yeah, I've never heard of this human being in my life. Let me
Wow.
You should look him up. He's going to be a very good player.
Phillies prospects, not on my radar, unfortunately.
Well, hey, there's not many to take in this draft, but he's gonna be very good.
Let me tell you, the best prospect has still not been taken, and I'm going to go ahead and scoop him up with my next pick.
Who's that?
Best prospect.
Yeah. Go ahead. You guys you can think about it.
If you're talking, the only thing I can think about is either Joe Adele or Adley Rutschman.
Is it the guy from the Dodgers? I'm blanking on his name.
Who's to say? It's not my pick, guy, so I can't say.
Oh, I think it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it is your pick. Yeah, Sean went
Story and Boom.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and write down Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
First overall pick. Literally gets walked with the bases loaded in college. Like, this guy is ridiculous, and he's like 20 years old. He's like a baby. I'll take him. He's gonna man my backstop. All the other catchers are there that I don't really like. Gary Sanchez hasn't caught a ball in years. Wilson Contreras is fine, but he's old, and there's no other catchers that are really appealing out there right now. So I'll take Adley. Thank you very much.
That's disappointing. He was my number one. I really didn't think that he was going to go. I rated him as my highest catcher, so that hurts a lot.
Hey, you hate to see it. Really do. Andrew, go ahead. Your pick.
I'm gonna go with the Phillies ace, and that is Aaron Nola.
Yeah, here we go. There it is again, boys. There it is again. The jersey's hanging in his closet.
It is. I can go put it on if you want me to.
Please do. I'm surprised it's not on already.
Well, you see, I came from work, and then I gotta go back to work after, so I just had my Northwestern shirt on. So
That's a shame. You should be wearing your Nola jersey at all times. When you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you take a shower.
Okay. I'll get on that for you, Jose.
Thank you. Oh man, that's good. Believe it is Joe now.
Yeah, I was between two young prospect outfielders to add to my outfield in Joe Adell and Jared Kalinick, a guy that I'm very happy got traded to the West Coast. And I'm going to go with Jared Kalinick. I mean, this guy's always on. You see him on social media. There's a lot of stuff posted. Again, he's only 20. The dude can rake. He has such a good swing. And obviously, he's on the Mariners team that's rebuilding and retooling. So I think he's going to grow and become their name face guy, where now that's obviously a guy like Mitch Haniger, who's at the age of 29 almost, and is going to kind of leave their team and go somewhere else to probably win as he steps in and takes over. So that's a guy I'm going with. He'll be good for the 5-year period. He might not necessarily be up in the first year since he's in Double-A now, but for 4 of those years, he's definitely going to kill it for him.
I like that. I like that as well. I love how prospect heavy these teams are. I did not expect as many prospects to go in this 5-year draft, to be honest.
I just would say I don't have one prospect.
Hey, good for you. Good for you. With my next pick, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know now. I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate myself for it after all this talking I've been doing.
Wait, Bork, you took 2?
No, I didn't take a second one yet. I just took Kalinick.
Okay.
I was going to say my second person is someone that obviously got on the nerves of a few people in recency in baseball, but that's Blake Snell. He had a down year last year, but I think he's going to continue to get better. I want a really good lefty-righty combination with my rotation, so giving me Jack Flaherty and Blake Snell, who obviously coming off of 2 years ago was freaking 21-5 and won the Cy Young and was actually in the top 10 in the MVP also that season. So I believe he's going to bounce right back and be a perfectly great pitcher for me for that 5-year period. He's also only 27, so 32 years old. I'm not too worried about that.
All right, sweet. I like that, Andrew.
I'm going to go with a guy that I feel like's kind of been, I don't know, forgotten about these last few years. I feel like his name isn't as highly mentioned as it used to be, and that is Chris Bryant. I don't know where I'm going to put him yet because I can throw him in the outfield, DH, or third base. He's only 28, so 5 years is not much to worry about. But yeah.
A lot of options. Yeah. I like that, Andrew.
Got a bone to pick with you now, Andrew.
Why's that?
That was my DH.
I think he's undervalued in a way because I don't know. I just feel like he's never talked about it anymore. I feel like everyone forgets about him kind of.
I do too. He does get overblown. I think Javi Baez stole his thunder. Really stole.
That's fair.
Andrew, you have the master roster right now. So why don't you inform the people? Let's give people a breakdown since we're about 40 minutes in. Who's on our teams, Andrew? Start with yours, I suppose.
With mine? Okay, so first pick, I took Christian Yelich. Second, I went Mookie Betts. Then third, I went Jacob deGrom. Fourth, I went Freddie Freeman. Fifth, I went Ketel Marte. Sixth, I went JT Realmuto. Seventh, I went Francisco Lindor. Eighth, I went Aaron Nola. And ninth, I now just took Chris Bryant.
That's pretty good. Sean, Joe, do you guys happen to have your rosters in front of you?
Yeah, I've been writing them down.
Oh, sweet. Go ahead and list off your rosters for me if you could.
All right, so for me, I had back-to-back picks. I took Acuna and Arenado with my first two. With my second two, I took Walker Buehler and Wander Franco, the prospect from the Rays. For my next two, I took Bryce Harper and Chris Paddock. And for my final two, I took Trevor Story and Alec Bohm.
And then for me, I'm pretty sure I wrote this down in order. I kind of just wrote them down while picking it, but I picked Trout with the first pick. I picked Ozzie Albies for second base. I picked Jack Flaherty as a starting pitcher. Dante Bichette's son, Bo, as a shortstop. Paul Goldschmidt as a first baseman. Austin Meadows, who everyone said is a risky pick, but I think will kill it, as a right fielder. And Matt Chapman, who some people also said was a risky pick, but I think his bat will start killing it. So that's third base. And then Jared Kalinick, who was, of course, one of the top prospects, outfielder for the Mariners. And then Blake Snell, who's, of course, a starting pitcher for the Rays. I don't have to tell anybody that with recent news.
Good, good. I've got my catcher is Adley Rutschman. How do you say his name, guys?
I think you said that right,
Mm.
Adley Rutschman. Yeah, I
Sounds
think,
right.
All right,
yeah.
we're rolling with. There we go. We got Adley behind the dish. Pete Alonso at first base. Alex Bregman at third. Juan Soto and Cody Bellinger in the outfield. Shane Bieber and Garrett Kolb on the bump, and I've got Vladdy Jr. In my DH currently. Who just had? I think it's my pick now.
That is correct. That is
Mhm.
correct.
My pick. I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, I'm gonna hate myself for this pick after all
Oh,
the shit
no.
we're talking.
Don't
I'm
say it.
gonna take a shortstop, and I'm gonna take Fernando Tatis Jr.
Ooh.
He's basically like a teenager. He's so smooth. I was actually the bat boy for the Padres organization here in San Antonio while he was here, and literally the best glove I have ever seen in person. And after a slow start, just mash balls left and right. I've been on the Padres train for a while now. I love the youth movement, mostly because I know a lot of the guys on the team. Fernando Tatis Jr. might not be the best locker room guy, but fuck it, who cares? He's my guy.
It's a good pick. I didn't really have him on my list just because of how I rated Story and Franco and somebody I'm about to pick if it's my turn, I believe.
Yeah.
It's not-
95% sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your
Okay.
pick.
So I wasn't originally going to take him this high. I was kind of going to let him drop a little bit, and I didn't really think anybody was going to take him, but you scared me when you said somebody you hated you were going to take because you are a self-pronounced Red Sox fan. So I thought you were talking about Gleyber Torres,
no,
who I'm taking at second base.
I'd never.
Somebody we talked about this on the podcast we recorded on Sunday for Chasing the Pennant. I rate Gleyber Torres a lot higher than a lot of other people. I think he's prone for a breakout. If you want to call last year not a breakout for him, I think he has a bright future ahead of him. And every way he plays the game, even on the field, he just looks like he's got star power inside of him. So he's the second baseman I take.
I like it, especially because I'm still looking for a decent second baseman that I actually like. I like the pick.
That was the other thing. When you were listing people off, I heard that you didn't take a shortstop or second baseman, and then you said you hated yourself, and that's why I said, "Oh no!" I thought you were taking him because he was going to be my next pick.
I have him written down for sure. It's just I've been talking all this shit about Xander Bogaerts, and now I can't take him. So it's really annoying when you see like, man, this guy he's hitting 300, almost won the MVP, but then I've got this 20-year-old. Who knows what this 20-year-old is going to be? So it's a very annoying thing that I have to go through in my head all this time. But shout out to me, I guess, and shout out to you for picking Gleyber.
With my second pick, I'm taking my third starting pitcher after Walker Buehler and Chris Paddock, and that is Michael Kopech. Starter for the White Sox. He came up in, I think it was 2018, and he was one of the top 5 prospects in baseball. And he was up for, I'm going to say 2 or 3 starts. And then he got thrown in the IL, and we heard it was for Tommy John surgery. And since then, he's been completely almost forgotten about. He's dropped in the prospect ranking, I believe, down to, what is it? He's down to number 20 on the prospects ranking, which is crazy because he was up in 2018 that they still consider him a prospect. But he's got electric stuff, and you hear all these guys talk about how much better they perform after they get Tommy John surgery done. I believe this guy's going to be a stud for the White Sox.
I'm very familiar with Kopech's work, and I like it. If he can stay healthy and can control that 105 or whatever he throws now, it'll be great. It'll be great. Shout out to him, and shout out to Yohan Moncada too. Never forget. Never forget. Whose turn is it? Believe.
It's yours.
Is it mine? Wow, gosh. I feel like you guys haven't picked in a while, Andrew and Joe.
That's because after my pick, we went through all the rosters.
All right. So I need an outfielder, I need a second baseman, and I need a pitcher. So this is a tough look for me. Man. For some reason, I don't know why I thought I was actually going to pick this person, but I wrote Aaron Judge in my outfield just on my draft board. Why would I ever consider even? I am. Literally, I was looking at his stats. Here's a little mini roast of Aaron Judge. I was looking at his stats. He had 50 home runs that one big year. Last 2 years, he's had 27. I'm like, what the hell? The way people talk about him, I thought he's had 50 home runs in the last 10 years. Like, what?
Oh, he's definitely overrated, but he was also injured for a decent amount of that. I still think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, well, he's when he takes all these supplements, you can't stay healthy. Whatever he might be taking. I'm not saying he's taking something. He might be taking something. I'm gonna shock the world here. This is not. There's better pitchers on the board, but I'm gonna take this pitcher for one, his versatility, and two, I love that potential. Give me Shohei Ohtani at pitcher, please. And if we need to go to the NL bar parks, we'll hit some dingers there too. We'll throw him at the DH if we have to. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
It's a great pick.
Shohei, come to the squad.
Easily forgotten about.
Very much. I forgot about him. He was my last person I wrote down.
And you're taking him already?
Hey, like I said, I told you, I've reached there's better pitchers out, but I just want him.
That is a good pick. I respect that pick a lot.
No,
He's a great pitcher.
As long as he stays healthy, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I thought about taking him at my DH too, but he's best of both worlds, guys. Modern day Babe Ruth, we'll take it.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
Hey, who else pitches and hits?
I'm just okay. I guess the position wise, yeah, but
Brendan McKay.
Brendan McKay is hot garbage, and he's going to get sunned by the Red Sox soon. I cannot wait to see that.
Still young.
Still young, very young.
I'm blanking on the guy's name, but who was the guy on the Reds last year?
Michael Lorenzen, but he's also a relief pitcher. So
he still does both, though.
And no about relief pitchers, Andrew. We don't care about him so much. We're not even having him in this draft.
Madison Bumgarner. I mean,
Matt. I never seen Mad Bum play the field. And then if Vince Velasquez was actually worth a damn, then you could throw him in there. But he's a better left fielder than he probably is pitcher. So.
Kelly Jr. apparently can touch 90 off the mound, so I'm waiting for the Red Sox to throw him in a situation. Can't wait. He's gonna be the next Red Sox ace because they don't have any anymore. So. Okay. Andrew, go ahead, buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna forget about age again. I'm going with arguably maybe the best DH in the game in JD Martinez. I mean, he just never shows any signs of slowing down. And when he went on the Red Sox team, it seemed like he almost got better, and he just continues to hit over 300 and provides all the offense. And I think, with him being my DH, I'm not too worried about the age because all he has to do is go up and hit. So, give me JD Martinez.
I love that pick. We love Julio Daniel Martinez in this house. Hopefully, the thing is, I say that I'm happy about the DH going everywhere, but low key, I'm just fuming because I know the Red Sox have been stingy recently, and JD Martinez free agent year is probably going to be next year because he's going to opt out. Now he's got double the market because he's not going to play the field anymore. So JD Martinez, I love you, but stay on the Red Sox. We'll see if that actually happens. Joe.
Yeah, this one's tough because I need a catcher, and as we kind of stated, there's not the best plethora of young catchers, so I kind of went between Bart Murphy and Will Smith, but since Will Smith has the most MLB things at this point, and Joey Bart's a little ways off in San Francisco still, I would go with Will Smith because he's hit 253 so far when he's been up for the 1 year of his career. He's only 24. He's talked about as a great game manager and fielding catcher. So I think he'll continue to grow and be a guy that can catch at that position for, let alone we're doing a 5-year draft, probably 10 years because he's only 24. So that's a guy that I would take, and I really like him, and that's just the best of guy I picked from. Also, he can play other positions if needed. So that's also very beneficial. And then as my second guy, I went young for my DH in a phenom from a team that's obviously not well liked right now, but I think he actually is this talented. And I went with Yordan Alvarez. I don't think you hit 313 with 27 home runs and have all those ridiculous stats, like a 412 OBP and 655 slugging to go on with it, just because of cheating. And like I said, he got called up later, so who knows how much he was even involved in that compared to everybody else if they tended to use some of the cheating last year as well, which we don't know, but we don't trust the MLB, so who knows. But I'm taking Yordan Alvarez because he's a great player. He came up last year where there's more question marks if they even cheated or not at all. But I'm definitely taking him. He's going to be a great DH for years to come. He's only 22 freaking years old, and the dude hit home runs like he was Griffey already last year.
It's a great pick. I like that pick.
Yeah, great pick. Andrew, I believe you're up here.
I'm gonna go with I'm interested to see how you guys feel about this guy, but I'm going with an Atlanta Braves pitcher who's 22 years old. I'm going Mike Soroka to finish my rotation. I think last year. What was that?
I'm happy you said the name right. I'm proud of you.
Oh, hey, you know how well I do with names, so.
Exactly.
But no, I think last year he really came along for that Braves rotation. 2.68 ERA, 13-4. I forget where he finished in the Rookie of the Year race, but I think he was top 3 if I remember correctly. So I think he's just going to continue to get better, and he's going to be one of the better young arms in the league. Like I said, he's only 22.
I like it. He was on the board. Soroka's a good pick.
That is a really good pick, and he's young too.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's real next year, I guess, but I like it. I'm going to go ahead and step up, and I'm going to take a second baseman. Doesn't play second base primarily, but has played there a lot with Addison Russell coming to short and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop up Javi Baez at second base.
Dropped pretty far.
Yes, because I think everyone's thinking of him as a shortstop, probably. I don't know. Because shortstop's so loaded. Like, there's so many shortstops that we haven't taken that's crazy. But Javi Baez has got the swag. He can hit, strikes out for days, but maybe he'll give my team enough drip and we'll win.
I'm not gonna lie. When you started mentioning Addison Russell, I thought you were gonna take Russell, and I was gonna ask what you were doing.
Addison Russell is on the all MLB bad guys team. He is not on my team, unfortunately. Too much of a locker room cancer.
That's fair. Also, who was your pick before that? I apparently skipped over that one.
Ohtani? Shohei?
Okay, that's right. Thank you.
All right, I'm up, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Okay. So back-to-back picks. My last 2 picks. I need a catcher and an outfielder. I had Rushman as my number 1 and Realmuto was my backup, but I figured Realmuto would be gone. I didn't think Rushman would be gone. I thought I was going to let him fall to me. So that really leaves me with, who Borg said, Joey Bart, or I can take, proven how someone that somehow people think is the best catcher in baseball right now. And if you listen to one of our previous podcasts where I kind of bash on Realmuto a little bit, maybe I agree. I don't know. But I'm going to take, I believe he's 31 years old, Yasmani Grandal, catcher for the White Sox. He just signed, a 4-year deal? I think he's going to live up to that deal. He's a switch-hitting catcher. Obviously, his offensive numbers are better than his defensive numbers. And he's the veteran I think this team needs with all the young guys that I've taken.
That's what I was going to say. You're not worried about him falling out as a catcher in like the first 2 years of your 5-year deal?
Well, even if he does, he can swap to DH, and I feel like that transition will be fine. But for now, he is a serviceable catcher for at least the foreseeable future.
Then he'll just pick up a catcher off the free agent market, There's got to be some teenage catcher out there.
And so for my last pick, I'm going outfield. I'm still split. I actually don't know who I'm going to pick. I'm between Phenom for the Angels, Joe Adele, and Aaron Judge, who I believe is going to live up to his Rookie of the Year stats. It's a very tough one. I think because I already have 2 prospects on my team, technically 3 prospects, I think I'm going to go with Aaron Judge and leave Joe Adele to whoever wants to take him. I am a firm believer that Judge is an overrated player as a superstar. People think he's one of the faces of the game. I don't think so, but you can't doubt the athleticism, and I'm never going to doubt another Yankee again. So, yeah.
What happened the first time you doubted?
Well, Yankees and Braves and Dodgers are three teams where you look at guys and you say they're not going to be as good as they, the stats are, their projections are, and they actually outperform them every time. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Judge to round out my 12-man team.
And I hope your training staff will keep him off of supplements. I hope so. He's got to stay healthy, and whatever he's taking now, it ain't it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how exactly old he is, but I know he'll be around for at least the next half decade.
Sure. He's
28.
He's a 38-year-old, 28-year-old. But I hope I hope he stays healthy too. I love making fun of Aaron Judge. Let me tell you guys, nothing is better than watching Aaron Judge strike out 4 times in a game. It is the best feeling, and it is funny every single time. Followed right behind by Gary Sanchez. Sanchez striking out is hilarious.
And then Giancarlo Stanton to end off the inning.
Yes. Yes, that is my favorite part of the lineup when the Yankees do it. And it's also very scary at times, especially late with 1-run leads. But, Chris Sale just comes up, throws sliders, and they just can't touch him. It's great. Warms my heart. Shout out to Chris Sale, who's not going to get picked in this draft, too. It makes me sad. My last outfielder, I'm going to take George Springer. I'm not going to overthink it. He's very, very good. One of the best postseason performers of all time, if you look at his World Series stats. But, tainted. I hope that he's off the juice, aka off the cameras. Hopefully, and if not, maybe he can bring that kind of culture into my clubhouse and we'll win some ball games. Who knows?
I like it.
Yeah, I honestly kind of forgot about him.
I had him on my board. He was right behind Joe Adell and Luis Robert of the White Sox, but I went prospect heavy. I fall in love with what prospects can be. I was definitely considering Springer.
I can definitely feel that. I feel that from you and Joe. I can see it. But I also would like to claim the trademark Springer Dinger. That is also something that my team would also have. So that's a big time thing when it comes to deciding whose team's better in this, guys. I believe Andrew, your last pick now.
Yeah, I've been deciding where I wanted to play Chris Bryant. I'm gonna put him in the outfield. And I need younger guys, so I'm gonna take the Red Sox third baseman in Devers.
Yeah.
I was torn between him and Jose Ramirez, but again, I needed a younger guy, and I think when it's all said and done, I think Devers is going to end up being a better player than Ramirez, especially with kind of the down year he had last year. So I'm taking your boy here, Jose.
I love it. He's like a 13-year-old, so you got youth on your side. Great. I love it.
Also, about personality, you got the great locker room presence in Rafael Devers, too.
Yeah. And plus, he doesn't speak a lick of English, but
No.
everyone loves him. So it's great.
Yeah, that's why. You don't even have to understand him and you love him.
Yeah, he's literally like 13, just running around in the locker room with scoops of ice cream, and he's doing great. I love him. Andrew. Might have been my favorite pick of the draft right there.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, Joe, round us out here. Give us Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah. I believe my last guy, because we're supposed to have 3 starting pitchers, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so my last guy, I did that right, is a starting pitcher, and I'm going to pick a guy that's continuing to get better. He's on the Twins. He's only 25 years old, Jose Barrios, where if you look at his career numbers, he has a 4-something ERA, but that's simply just because when he came up in 2016, he had an 8.02 ERA, and then since then he's had ERAs in the 3s. He's a great strikeout pitcher. He just needs to harness his control a little bit more. But like I said, he's only been in the league for 4 total years, so he's still coming into his prime. He made the All-Star game the last 2 years, I believe. So he's a guy, he did make it the last 2 years. So he's a guy that's still growing and hasn't even hit his full prime potential yet, which for pitchers normally at 25 is when you can kind of start kicking it into second gear. So that's why I really love that as my Mr. Irrelevant.
That's a great pick. He was on the board. He was definitely on the board. And especially when you're in a tough division with the Twins, it's tough to keep the ERA down at first, but he has definitely turned into their ace. Is he good enough to win a playoff game? Who knows? But, Here we are. If it's against the Yankees, then they're definitely not going to win. That's what I've learned. I feel
It's a
bad
shame.
for Twins fans.
Yeah, they deserve more than what they've gotten in the last couple of years.
Imagine the Phillies going to the playoffs and losing to the Braves every single time. No, 0 for 9, just crushing too. That would suck. You'd hate to see that. So I'm glad that we've got that all squared away. Let's go over our teams real fast. I'll start it off, and then we can talk about players that didn't get drafted. Because boy, there's a list of really good players that did not get drafted, and then we'll round it off with our stadium, and then I'll let you guys go about your business. All right. So my pick or my team is catcher at Adley Rushman. Pete Alonso at first, Javi Baez at second, Fernando Tatis Jr. at short. That middle infield, by the way. Whew. Alex Bregman at third, Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, and George Springer on the outfield. Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole, Shohei Ohtani at pitcher, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at my DH. That sounds like a winner, boys. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like a winner because you're the only one that's gone so far.
That sounds like a winner. Go ahead, Andrew. What's your team looking like?
So I got a catcher. I got JT Realmuto. First base, Freddie Freeman. Second base, Ketel Marte. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Third base, I'm going Rafael Devers. Outfield, I'm going Christian Yelich, Mookie Betts, and Chris Bryant. Pitchers, I got Jacob deGrom, Aaron Nola, and Mike Soroka.
Okay.
It's a damn good team. That's a damn good team.
It's definitely front heavy, so it'd be interesting to see how it would last in like year 4 or 5. So I understand. I definitely drafted front heavy there.
If anyone, does any of us four have a MLB The Show? Because
Yes. Yeah.
well, you know what? I personally would hate to see a simulation for 5 years with our teams in the game and see how they do. I'd hate to see that, to be honest. Ugh. God. Sean, go ahead and list your team for us.
My catchers, Yasmani Grandal. Again, I wanted Rushman so bad. At first base, I have Alec Boehm. Definitely look up some highlights of him, by the way, after this. Second base, I moved Wander Franco there from shortstop. Future stud for the Rays. Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado, my Rockies left side of the infield. In the outfield, I have Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Bryce Harper. Definitely some star power out there. My DH is Gleyber Torres, and on the mound, I have Walker Buehler, Chris Paddock, and Michael Kopech.
You definitely have some jersey sellers in the outfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, you definitely have big time money makers.
At least we know what team's not going to be poor, I guess. All right, Joe, hit us up.
Okay, my team is at catcher. I picked Dodgers youngster Will Smith. At first base, I went with Paul Goldschmidt, who I think is really the only person on my team that's over 30. Yeah, he is. And then at second base, I went with Ozzy Albies, who, of course, is a rising phenom. Again, going to hate seeing him kick our ass for all these years to come, but it's going to happen, so have to deal with it. And then at shortstop, I have Bo Bichette, again, from a great Yin lineage. He's going to become a great star in the league. At third, I have Matt Chapman, who's already a defensive wizard, so if his bat just develops an inch better, he's already one of the best at his position. And then at center, I have Trout to go along with right fielder Austin Meadows, and then one of the top prospects in baseball, Jared Kelenic, the Mariners outfield prospect. So I think I have a great mix of great young budding outfielders with the best outfielder in baseball. And then at DH, I have Yordan Alvarez, who's continuing to grow. And again, if I need to, I can put him in the outfield. So another mix of a young budding outfielder with Trout. And then to round it out, my pitching rotation is Jack Flaherty, Blake Snell, and Jose Barrios to have two righties to go with a lefty.
Wow. This is very comprehensive, guys. I'm proud of us all that we've all done this. Let's actually, I should ask this first. Does anyone want to make any trades? Anyone fancy a trade? Anyone want a position to upgrade? Javi Baez and Garrett Cole are on the market if anyone's interested. Is everyone satisfied with their team?
I'm pretty satisfied for now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad that I'm gonna beat you guys in this poll, and it's gonna be great. Let's list some names real fast that didn't get drafted. Xander Bogarts didn't get drafted. Trey Turner, nothing. Anthony Rendon, we didn't. No one even mentioned his name throughout any of this. Do you guys have any other big names you guys can think of that didn't get drafted? You guys kind of surprised about?
I mean, I guess because of his age, but I mean, Max Scherzer is still arguably one of the best pitchers in the game, and he was another guy not even mentioned.
Yeah.
Definitely not mentioned. Yeah.
I would say a young guy, if we're talking about guys that are going to keep growing. Gavin Lux on the Dodgers.
He was going to be my number one.
Yeah.
Not drafted. He was my number one second baseman, but I kind of wanted Story over him.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know him, and then even if you wanted to dip down a bit, Bobby Witt's supposed to be a hell of a shortstop. So if we're picking from prospects, that's another guy I wrote down as a potential guy if guys went off the board that I wanted.
Andrew, you have any that you were surprised about?
I'm going to stick with the Nationals rotation. I kind of thought Steven Strasburg would go eventually. I mean, I know he's got some injury history, but overall he's still pretty good, and especially what he did in the postseason last year.
He's also over 30 now.
Yeah, he's 31. I thought about taking him. He was going to be the guy I took over Shohei, to be honest.
And then also a couple Twins players. Eddie Rosario has been pretty good coming up. Max Kepler, kind of another guy that's kind of been here and there. So I thought those guys could have been mentioned or picked kind of late.
No Yohan Moncada or Byron Buxton when it comes to former top prospects, which is fun.
Yeah, and then as pitchers, we also didn't have who really came on last year. A Clevenger, a Giolito, both came on last year as youngsters, and then a Glasnow, who also came on last year as his best season.
Clevenger was a backup of mine. Him and Casey Mize, top prospect, one of the top prospects for the Tigers. And then for first baseman, also Max Muncy, somebody that I rated really high. I think he's still young enough, and he's versatile. He can play a couple infield positions. Josh Bell too, Jeff McNeil, all guys that can hit that are still young. That are
DJ LeMahieu.
I thought about taking DJ at second, but I was like, man, I cannot take a Yankee here. I thought about taking him at second.
How old is DJ?
31.
31, I think. But he seems like a guy that would age fairly well. He's just a great back-to-ball hitter. So.
Yeah, I mean, he had his best year arguably at 31 or 30, whatever it was. So whatever there. Lucas Giolito was a good honorable mention. I have him as well. Noah Syndergaard. No one seems to care about Noah Syndergaard anymore.
Overrated.
As I say, I'm not surprised in this room of people that he's considered overrated. But and I think Andrew, you mentioned Patrick Corbin. I think he's another good one that the Nationals rotation that we didn't even mention. All right, so let's do this last pick here. We're going to do stadiums that you'd want your team to play in. We're going to do in reverse order this time since you guys got the players. We'll let Sean pick first, then me, then Andrew, then Joe. Where would you like your team to play? And obviously, no favorite ballparks.
Well, all right. Here's a little screwball. I guess I'm throwing in there. We can't pick the bank, and you can't pick Fenway, but I can pick Fenway, right?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to take Fenway.
Okay, I don't blame you. Short fences sometimes they feel very long at other times.
I love the monster, and I love how the right field pole goes from two. I don't even know. I love how far it stretches. Like you can pull it down the line and hit one like 300 feet, and it'll go out. But if you hit it like 20 feet to the left, it stretches to 400 down there. I love that.
Yes, it's great. Shout out to Pesky's pole, and shout out to 309-foot home runs. We love them.
Especially with that outfield of Sean's, like they're gonna hit, and they're not. Like that team's gonna just rake.
Now, I'm down. I guess it's my pick, and I'm down to two places. One place I hate with a passion, and the other place I don't hate, but it's bleak. It's Colorado and the Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium obviously is a shit box that you can hit home runs off left and right. Coors, you have the Coors effects, but I don't believe, honestly, I don't think I drafted the pitching that could sustain in Coors. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slide into Yankee Stadium and abuse those short fences.
I like that.
That makes sense.
And I hate to do it, but Here we go.
So you're playing in your rival's ballpark, and everybody gets that.
Yeah, well, I know. Like I said, I wanted to pick Coors, but I didn't. I literally before the draft, I was like, if I want to pick Coors, I have to pick good pitching. And I looked down and I saw Shane Bieber. Okay, not bad. Garrett Cole, and then Shohei. I was like, okay, well, I guess it's. We'll see. Andrew, where are you going?
I was thinking about Coors as well, and I do like my pitching, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go to a place I actually had a chance to visit, and it's one of my favorite. It's probably one of my favorites I've been to, and that's PNC Park. I think the Pirates Stadium is beautiful. I love the way it's set up. It's one of, I mean, I hear a lot of different people talk about it. I think it's just a tremendous field setup and a good place for fans to go to.
It's a great stadium. I love it there.
Yeah, I need to get there. That's on my high up on my bucket list.
Really?
Nothing like seeing the city behind the outfield in person.
Exactly.
I was gonna say the river there too. Like all of that is awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right, Joe, round us out here and surprise us with a lovely pick of a stadium.
Well, mine is a stadium that I thought Andrew was going to take mine because I think he's also been here a couple times. But I visited with the Father-Son Club many times or at LaSalle High School, and that's Camden Yards in Baltimore. They designed a lot of the newer ballparks around Camden Yards. It has Utah Street, obviously, with the factory or warehouse, the building behind it. And I have a couple great power lefties in my lineup, Austin Meadows, Yordan Alvarez Kalinick, who's developing. So some of those guys can mash some home runs onto Utah Street. That would be a great show for everybody. And then obviously the ball in the summer carries pretty damn well there too. But in other seasons, it plays pretty well for the pitchers. So I kind of like it as more of a mix of a ballpark. When it's colder, it plays a little bit better for the pitchers. And when it's warmer, you can just rake in there. So that's mine. Plus, it's very picturesque appealing, in my opinion.
I love Camden Yards. I've been there many a time, and it's a great park. I actually think it's my first major league park I went to. So shout out to Camden Yards, especially for that.
3 AL East stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I had to be different.
I'm glad it came around. We were drafting all these NL East players, and then we came back around to the best division in baseball, the best homes in baseball. Here's a random question to end the show. What division has the best stadiums? If you guys, as a whole, because if we're going to do this, it's not the AL East, unfortunately, because Tropicana is terrible.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, it brings the whole thing down.
It's also not the AL West because of freaking Oakland.
That was honestly, the Rays Stadium is honestly probably the worst one I've been to.
Yes, the Rays Stadium is probably the worst in baseball. So, well, the Marlins Stadium is really bad too. New, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Sean.
I would have to go NL Central. I don't think there's I'm trying to really picture it. You know, the Reds and the Cardinals, that they have, you know, okay views, and Great American Ballpark is historic, you know, but in my opinion, going from I can't remember the Brewers Park is, you know, I love that dome.
I think it's, PNC, right?
I think it's still Miller.
It's Miller Park.
Miller? Okay.
Yeah.
Between that, a PNC and then Wrigley, like all of them together, like in my opinion, NL Central is the best.
I agree.
I agree. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was going to say that because I have a one of those canvas paintings I got from Goodwill of Wrigley where it's in the snow and it's really awesome. So I love all the NL Central Stadium.
No thoughts on the NL West? Maybe the Dodger Stadium is really nice. I don't know the Angels Stadium, Angels, but those stadiums are pretty nice. Diamondbacks over there.
That's a good point. Yeah, the D-back Stadium has the hot tub and everything. It's inside in Arizona. That's not a bad stadium. I would say the Central just beats it by a hair because San Diego has a really cool stadium.
Giants are cool too.
Yeah, that's the one that I would say would be either tied with it or in second, but they're really close for me.
Well, I'll agree with you guys, and we'll end the show like this on a lovely agreement. So NL Central is the crowning champion of these divisions. I wish you guys good luck. I appreciate you guys joining the show. If you guys ever want a better opinion than Andrew's and maybe some Red Sox bias, you guys are more than welcome to contact me. I'll be available, trust me.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
No problem, guys. I appreciate you guys. See you guys next week. Andrew, I guess we're not going to see them next week. Andrew, it's been a good time. We're gonna come back on Thursday. We're gonna do another game, allegedly.
Yeah, we still need to figure out which game, but we'll be back with the game. We'll see. We'll see which one.
Yes, we'll see. We've talked 162. We've talked 163. Who knows what's gonna happen? We appreciate everyone listening to us as always. Do you have any final words, Andrew?
I just thank you to Sean and Joe for joining us here today, and hopefully we can find a way to get another kind of show like this and bring you guys back on, because I thought this was a tremendous show.
Hey, yes, I agree. Shout out to the people that listen to us live. Of course, we will be on Apple and Spotify. All the live show listeners, we appreciate the most though, because they give us our hard-earned time and they sit in. Well, like Andrew said, we'll be back on Thursday. We'll catch you guys then. See you guys.